Today on the DML News podcast, we're going to give some updates on the Trump trial, although today is Wednesday, so he's not in court, but yesterday, let's just say he assembled the Trump Avengers. We're also going to talk about Biden wants to debate Trump. That's kind of crazy. And we're also going to talk about how we can't have nice things. This and more, and it's all unfiltered.
Dennis Michael Lynch gives you his word, and he will never let you down. He will always fight for America.
The only one who really puts his money where his mouth is Dennis Michael Lynch.
Hey everybody, it's Denny here again today, filling in for DML. He had some appointments to get to. He's also working on the newsletter, so I am here with Ryan behind on the controls. Speaking of the newsletter, we've had some questions on it, and we're just going to give more updates throughout the week. But just as a reminder, Ryan's going to put the banner. If you want to sign up for the Great American Newsletter, you have to go to greatagain.squarespace.com. You click on that link, or I should say you put that your URL link in your browser. It takes you to the main page. Ryan can put up the screenshot of what it's going to look like. And when you get there, there's a submission form. You put in your name, you put in your email, you're registered to go. Now, if you're worried that it's going to go to your junk mail or promotions tab or whichever format of email you use, if you go to the link I just gave you, greatagain.squarespace.com, and you scroll down the page past the submission form, you will see the different email variations of how you can go through the step-by-step process of getting it out of your junk mail, if that's where it goes, into your primary inbox. I mean, I know for Gmail, if it goes to your junk box, you can literally click on it, hold it, drag it to your primary, and then boom, from there on, it should end up in your inbox. And just as a reminder, it's going to appear as Mr. Lynch in the header. We're in the beta testing phase. I think it might stay like that for a while, right, Ryan? It's going to stay as Mr. Lynch just for the time being as we're working out the kinks. But we've gotten a lot of great feedback on it. We've been adding section by section, day by day. So for tomorrow's newsletter, it should be pretty hefty. So definitely keep an eye out on it. It goes out. It's going to be going out every morning. And yeah, if you have any questions about it, you can email Ashley at teamdml.com. Comment on DML's Facebook post. He's been giving updates on it. But we will continue to just kind of give processes on how to sign up for it and what to expect with it. But we've had a lot of good feedback so far, so just want to thank you guys for it. Now, to get into today's show. So today is Wednesday, which means Trump does not have to go to trial. It's the off day for Judge Merchan when he uses that day to, I guess, tackle other cases. But yesterday was a pretty freaking big day for Trump. He basically had to kind of come out, and I don't know if I would say it was a direct attack. Maybe it was more so just like a wake-up call to lawyer Alan Dershowitz. Now, if you're familiar with Dershowitz, he's a prominent Jewish American lawyer. He has defended a lot of high-profile cases. I mean, he was involved with Trump's impeachment trial. He was also involved with the OJ case. What else has he been involved with? Oh, Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, he's very well known. He's probably top 5 names in terms of American lawyers that have been around in some very high-profile cases. Well, Trump read his statement regarding the case of the hush money trial, and Dershowitz, who is a registered Democrat, basically believes, as many other normal-headed Americans do, that this is just one big farce and that this is just a witch hunt against Trump because he is running for president. So Trump reads the statement from Dershowitz, but he also kind of laments that Dershowitz, along with other Jewish Americans, and you can see it statistically, they continue to register and vote as Democrats when we have time and time again seen that the Democrat Party are not allies or friends to the Jewish ethnicity group. I mean, Biden literally just turned away sending weapons over to Israel. I think he's actually reversing course, but the fact that he was even jumping to that conclusion to begin with just shows that there is a contentious relationship, and yet, in large numbers, Jewish Americans are still deciding to vote Democrat. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So here's a video of Trump outside of the courtroom yesterday calling out Dershowitz and kind of making a call to Jewish Americans and a wake-up call in a sense, saying, hey, stop doing these kind of liberal-leaning votes. Here's the clip.
Alan Dershowitz, a great gentleman. This is election interference at the most obvious, and every American, no matter whether you're on the Trump team or against him, whatever political affiliation it is, and he goes on to say he's a Democrat. He can't be right about everything because he's making a big mistake. If you're Jewish and you're a Democrat, and that includes Alan Dershowitz, you ought to have your head examined.
So look, after he made that statement, a lot of, I guess you could say, left-leaning mainstream media networks are saying it's anti-Semitic and this and that. If you're a normal IQ, level-headed person, then you know that that's not what Trump was intending to do. What Trump is trying to say is, hey, look, Biden is not your friend. The Democrats are not your friend. We have, if you've been an avid watcher and listener of the show, shown countless videos of how these pro-Hamas, pro-Palestinian protesters around the country, mostly at college campuses, have been, in some cases, violent, but overall antagonistic to Jewish students and people of Jewish backgrounds, such as teachers at Columbia, at Yale, at Harvard. And there's still encampments going on. It just, I guess it's died down a little bit in the media cycle simply because Trump's case is heating up. So look, if you are a Jewish American and you are voting Democrat, I kind of agree with Trump here. I do think your head needs to be examined because you're voting for a party that does not care or respect your religion. What do you say, Rye?
I'm pretty sure Trump is the one president that has done the most for Israel and for the Jewish community.
Right.
They do need to get their head checked. I mean, he moved Jerusalem.
The embassy.
The embassy. He did a lot for Israel.
I mean, look, even at his family, right? His son-in-law is Jewish, Jared Kushner, and Ivanka converted to Judaism when she married Jared. So to this idea that Trump is not a friend to the Jewish people or even Israel for that matter is just an ugly lie at this point. If anything, it's really the Biden administration that's not allies or friends to Israel. If anything, they give all their attention to Ukraine, which we have some updates on that. But before we get there, Trump's case is going to be coming to a head soon with the hush money trial. In fact, I have some worrisome theories in regards to it. But I think as a side point here to show how much that this is heating up, let's just say that Trump brought out the war team yesterday. In fact, he brought out 4 top people that I think it's worth showing in terms of who and what they were speaking about. First on the docket is House Speaker Johnson. Now, Johnson has only been, House Speaker, I think now for 7 months, 8 months. And he just went to Mar-a-Lago, I think it was about 2 months ago, to speak with Trump. And I think just to kind of get ahead of what's going on with this election. But he was there yesterday. In fact, if you are signed up to the newsletter, we kind of talked about it because Liz Cheney, who is a total rhino, went after Johnson for showing his support, for being there to speak out on it. But Johnson, like everyone, kind of just admit that this is a political witch hunt. Here's the clip.
The crime that they are accusing President Trump of is falsification of business records. But I think everybody knows he is not the bookkeeper for his company. President Trump is innocent of these charges. And again, anyone with common sense can understand what is happening here. In the midst of all this nonsense and corruption, they have placed a ridiculous and unprecedented gag order on President Trump. They were overriding his constitutional right to defend himself from political smears from his harshest critics at the most important time. He is soon to be officially the nominee of one of the major parties in our country, running for president. And they have him tied up here in this ridiculous prosecution that is not about justice. It's all about politics, and everybody can see that.
Look, Johnson says it. It's all about politics. He mentions how, Trump is basically gagged from speaking out. And I think as the House Speaker and a member of the Republican Party, it is very important that Johnson shows his support and the fact that, he is going to be and is, as of right now, the nominee for the party and the man who hopefully will win in November. Let me tell you, if we had Paul Ryan in that position, I doubt he would be there. So I think it's great that Johnson's there. He brought out some heavy hitters as well. I think the one who really knocked it out of the park is Vivek Ramaswamy. Now, we have a video here from when he spoke out yesterday, and he kind of laid out the groundwork. This case has no real basis. They're trying to get him for the use of personal finances, but he even points out that if he used actual campaign contributions for the things they're accusing Trump of doing, that it would even be a bigger legal issue. So where's the middle ground here? And the truth is there is none. And Vivek says it. He even says this case is a ground point for how we are continuing to head into a banana republic. So here is a clip of Vivek Ramaswamy.
The alleged crime here is supposedly, they try to point to this every day, that he does not actually use campaign funds, that he used personal funds. Well, let's get this straight. Suppose Donald Trump had used campaign funds to make a personal expense. They'd be going after him for that. So if they're going to get him going or they're going to get him coming, that is the best proof that this is a politicized sham. Let's go through it piece by piece. If you tell somebody to go buy you a suit and you want to look good on television because that'll affect the voters, the way voters vote for you, you know what? They prosecute politicians if they use campaign funds to buy a suit. If they say, go get a haircut, if you use campaign funds to get a haircut because you want to look good to the voters, they will actually prosecute you for using campaign funds for a personal expense. Yet the entire legal theory of this case, the whole case that Alvin Bragg has brought, depends on one premise for them to charge this as a felony, is that Donald Trump somehow should have used campaign funds to make an allegedly personal payment. Yet if he had done that, their case against him would be even stronger. This is garbage. That is the best proof that you have that if they're going to get him going or get him coming, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. This is a sham. This is not the United States of America. This is some third-rate banana republic. If this were happening in another country, we would be laughing at them as a sham democracy. I am ashamed as an American citizen to sit here in a courtroom watching the former leader of the free world, and let's be honest, likely next leader of the free world, sitting with the indignity in this dingy third-rate courtroom with fourth-rate prosecutors and a fifth-rate lawyer on the stand as a witness, who actually is violating attorney-client privilege left and right. Nobody's even talking about that.
Yeah, look, so Vivek hit it on the head, and if you're watching, you could see that Byron Donald was behind him, and we have a clip of him too. He was the other one of the four here, the heavy hitters that came out, and he even addresses it, right? Judge Merchan is a Democrat. His daughter is not only a Democrat, but is a Democrat operative working and campaigning for Democrats, raising money for them. That's a freaking issue. Here's Byron Donald speaking about that.
Ladies and gentlemen of America, this trial is a joke. This thing is a farce. We were in there all morning. Michael Cohen basically sat there and said, yeah, he invoiced legal expenses. The Trump campaign, the Trump organization, not the campaign, paid out money in legal expenses. Where's the crime? There is no crime. The only crime that's happening here is this Democrat judge and the Democrat Party prosecuting their political rival right in the middle of a presidential election. The crime here is that the issues facing our nation are not being addressed by the Democrats, but they want to go after Donald Trump. And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing that has been wrong here. Nothing that has been done poorly by President Trump. The only thing that's being done wrong is by this judge. His daughter's making money, raising money for Democrats, and all of the fundraising emails and all the fundraising things are about this trial that his daughter is using. He won't recuse himself. This is a travesty of justice.
Now, for a fourth heavy hitter, and some people speculate possibly as a VP pick, and I think I would be kind of happy with it, is Senator J.D. Vance from Ohio. Now, he said the same thing as Byron, right? Or as Representative Donald's, that Judge Merchan, his daughter, should basically her affiliation should have this whole case compromised. He even goes on to say how an official from Biden's DOJ became a legal prosecutor to go after Trump. Again, furthering the notion that this is a full-on witch hunt. Here is J.D. Vance speaking about it.
The thing that the president is prevented from saying, which is a disgrace, is that every single person involved in this prosecution is practically a Democratic political operative. The judge inside, his daughter is making millions of dollars running against Donald Trump, raising money for Donald Trump's political opponents. The number 3 person in the Department of Justice, Biden's Department of Justice, left to become a local prosecutor to go after Donald Trump. And of course, there's Alvin Bragg, a Soros-funded prosecutor who promised to go after Donald Trump and now is doing exactly that. Now,
So look, this is going to come to a head soon. I mean, you have a case that could be very determinant whether Trump is going to end up going to prison or not. And when you have a jury, which, you know, this jury really appears to be a mixed bag of sorts in terms of being unbiased, quote unquote, I get a little worried. And I think what's going to add to that worry is that there has been speculation, and I was speculating about it for a while, that there would be no debates, right? No debates between Biden and Trump. Some of the rhetoric was, oh, Biden, because, you know, he is going senile, is going to use the excuse of, Trump's a criminal who's been convicted. I'm not going to debate a criminal. However, Biden released this video today, and his campaign has been speaking about it. And there was already some mention about it a few weeks ago when he confirmed it, that Biden is open to doing 2 debates with Trump, one in late June and one come early September. And I think there's discussions that once Trump picks his VP, the vice presidential debate would be held in July. So here is Biden's clip, which, oh my gosh, it is going to be tough to watch and listen to. If you're watching, you're going to notice that in this, 15-second clip, there's like about 20 different cuts. It's very telling of just how far Biden has fallen being able to do these visual videos, sort of say, to make announcements and try to prove his point that he is functional, which, yikes. So here's the clip where he challenges Trump and even makes a joke about how he's, quote, free on Wednesdays. Ride, play the clip.
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. And since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice. So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays.
You're free on Wednesdays. Yikes. Right, so I want to tell you why I'm scared. Maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist. I think the fact that Biden and his team are so willing to have a debate with Trump when we know that he can't even get through a 30-second ad read for announcing the debates leads me to believe that they have this crazy inside knowledge that there isn't actually going to be a debate, because maybe they know that the fix is in for Trump, that Trump is going to be taken out from the campaign. I think it's maybe just an irrational worry, but then sometimes I think, oh my gosh, it's really not all that irrational when we've seen what's happened.
Yeah. Or you could see it as desperation, perhaps. They see that it's not looking too good for them, and maybe they know if they hide him in his basement for the second time, people are not going to overlook it this time. So I would like to see a debate. I think Trump would run it. I mean, I'm sure Biden's going to be all juiced up like he was during the State of the Union, but I don't know. It's a little weird. I thought they would have, tried their best to avoid that, public situation.
It is weird. And I think a reason, right? Because you said it and I agree. They would try to juice him up. But here's the thing. At the State of the Union, he's juiced up, probably on some kind of amphetamine. But that's just him speaking, right? And think about the times that he was interrupted or thrown off course during the State of the Union. He tripped on Lincoln Riley's name. He couldn't focus. It almost it veered him, and he can't even do teleprompters at this point. So even if he's juiced up, how in the world is he going to hold a debate with no script, no teleprompter script against Donald Trump, who's going to pose questions, who's going to interrupt him? And I'm not saying that in a negative way. Like, that's part of the debate. I should just say that's just naturally part of American debates now. Interruptions have just come commonplace. And if anything, it's to Trump's advantage because it's going to trip him up. I don't see how Biden is going to hold himself for an hour plus in a debate style with Trump, who is a firecracker, who's been on his A game, who doesn't have teleprompter misreads like Biden does. it makes me believe that either one, they know he's going to get tied up with something and he's not going to debate. Two, maybe the insider knowledge is that Biden himself, something's going to happen where he's not going to reach the debate date. Or three, like this is actually going to happen. And they just said, all right, at this point, let's just see whatever the hell happens. Because I don't see it's going to be a slaughter. It's going to be a bloodbath. Any normal person who's going to watch that, which by the way, he says in his advert here that he won those 2 debates. I don't know what he's smoking, but I remember watching them. He did not win those debates. And there's supposed to be a third one, and Trump had COVID at the time, and they had to cancel it, and he wanted to do it, virtual. So maybe that's going to be the thing. Maybe they're going to try to do a virtual debate. But if it's supposed to be in person, an hour and a half against these two, Trump versus Biden, Biden is going to get smoked.
Yeah, and you can't have a teleprompter during a debate.
No. And what's he gonna do? His little postcards? Trump's gonna rip him.
I forgot during the State of the Union he had a teleprompter and he still struggled.
Yeah.
So
it's
weird, and even that clip itself is so cut up.
Yes.
And even the voice, it kind of sounds AI-ish in a way.
Yeah, I hear you're free on Wednesdays.
There's so much wrong with that video, and it's a little scary that
if you're watching and you want to replay it back, he's not even looking directly at the camera. He's looking off to the side, clearly to do his read of the ad. I am telling you, and I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist. I don't think these debates are going to happen. I don't see how his administration and his campaign team find this to be a good idea with the way he is right now. He can't do teleprompters. You're expecting him to go up against Trump? So something's not adding up.
Or they're just going to put that video out and kind of run with the can't wait for debates, and then they'll come up with something when the time comes and cancel it. And
you're right.
People have such short attention spans; they probably will forget.
I'm telling you,
they're just trying to make him look strong.
I hate being I hate being a pessimist. I don't see how this is actually going to happen. His administration and himself, their priorities are so out of focus, and Biden himself can't hold ground when it comes to a conversation. Should we place bets to over under if a debate's actually going to happen? I will say this though, if it does, and I'm just completely wrong, then fantastic. Let Trump wipe the floor. We will totally be having a DML live chat party because we haven't had one in a while because there hasn't been any debates since the primaries. So if I think it's late. Yeah, they said late June would be the first one. So we'll definitely have one for that. If there's a VP one, obviously another one. And I guess the last presidential debate would be September, which, of course, we are going to have a Team DML live chat party for that. So stay tuned if it actually happens. Well, let's continue the role of incompetence, especially in the Biden administration. We got Secretary of State Anthony Blinken. Here's an announcement he just made where our country is yet again going to give $2 more billion to Ukraine.
We have, of course, the supplemental, and the assistance from the supplemental is on its way. In fact, some of it's already been delivered. But today I want to add to that by announcing that we will provide an additional $2 billion in foreign military financing for Ukraine. And we put this together in a first-of-its-kind defense enterprise fund.
Now, I don't have the report in front of me today just because Ryan and I have a lot on our plate for today. But I know that there was a report circulating that a good amount of this money so far that was supposed to go to like a war front section of Ukraine went into the pockets of local politicians. So yet again, you have us giving money to a country that doesn't respect us, quite frankly, and they're using that money not for their war effort against Russia, but to further their pockets. Now, if you're an avid watcher and listener of the show, we even talked a few weeks ago about how some of this money went into Kyiv itself, and they opened up local nightclubs. You would think Anthony Blinken, our Secretary of State, would maybe want to reel them in and say, just don't make it so obvious. But I don't think there is a better clip to showcase how much the Biden administration not only doesn't care for us, but probably just directly hates us, meaning everyday American people, than this video of Anthony Blinken not fighting for us to make sense of all these money donations, but instead him playing guitar, riffing it up in a nightclub in Ukraine. Right? Play the clip. Ryan, when I see a clip like that, I'm just going to be directly honest. I am effing pissed off. We give money to this country. They have made no considerable advancement in their war with Russia. And instead of our Secretary of State maybe trying to do anything to, I don't know, actively mitigate the situation, or even just like, if you're going to be false and a liar and a fraud about all of it, at least, convey that. I'll give Hillary Clinton credit. When she was Secretary of State, she at least tried to give the image up until Benghazi that, she was doing something effective. Here he is just, I don't give it a flying F. I'm just going to play my guitar, sing my song. The American people may hate me, but at least the Ukrainians love me because I'm giving them all this money. How do you watch something like that and say, yeah, our administration is really serious?
You don't. It pisses me off too saying that. If anything, Ukraine's losing ground. And he's down there in a nightclub in Kyiv playing the guitar.
Yeah. like what the actual flying F?
It's almost like dark humor. It's funny just thinking
when I saw the clip, I was like, is this AI? And then no, it is actually him just riffing it up. But he was supposed to we announced on True News in the briefing yesterday that he had this unplanned trip to Ukraine. What was it? To go book a gig? Is Secretary of State not busy enough for him?
Yeah. And this $2 billion, where's that coming from?
Yeah.
Us.
And maybe he's starting a world tour.
But I did see that. I don't quote me on it, but I did see that headline where I think $200 million went to fake companies where they were supposed to build fortifications and they didn't.
Yeah.
So don't quote me on it, but there's a lot of suspicion going on in Ukraine. That's for sure.
You know what, man? We can't have nice things anymore. We can't have an effective president. We can't have a competent administration. We can't have nice things. Speaking of not having nice things, this is something where conceptually sounds amazing. Execution, oh my God, this went south real quick. And what I'm talking about is the video portal or the live stream portal that opened up in New York City and Dublin, Ireland. Now, if you're unfamiliar with it, it was this initiative or program where it's almost like if you've ever seen 2001 Space Odyssey. If you remember the robot HAL with the big red eye, it's kind of like that, but instead it's a portal. It's a video portal. It's a direct live stream from New York to Dublin. You would think it'd be nice where people can just go up and wave and say hello to someone across the world. But Ryan will play some of the video here over me as I describe it. But in the first video, you have people from Dublin holding up cell phone footage of the Twin Towers on fire from 9/11 when the planes crashed into it. So yeah, that's something a New Yorker really wants to see. Only gets worse because then you'll have a little clip here of a young black woman from Dublin twerking her booty in the video stream from the Dublin side. I'm sure parents and their children really want to see that as they're walking over. But New York's no better. Unfortunately, we will play the clip and it's just a reason why we can't have nice things. A OnlyFans model. Actually, this girl was featured on Dr. Phil a few years back, and that should just explain everything here. She took it upon herself to go up to the screen, which, from the New York to Dublin side, and she quite literally flashes the Dublin audience. Ryan, play the clip, and don't worry, if you're watching, you are not about to see any nudity. It's just more from the back visual, but it just goes to show that there's just no more morality in this world anymore. Yeah, because of this girl, Ava Louise, they shut down the portal. So that was nice while it lasted. I think a week, maybe week tops. It opened last week.
Like a week.
Yeah. You know what? I wish there was a live stream portal in our studio here to all of Team DML, so we can check in with you guys. We wouldn't be flashing our booty or doing anything crazy like holding up, pretty awful pictures. I think it'd just be like, hey, how's it going, guys? But at least we could do it this way to you guys. So I don't expect there to be another kind of project like this opening up anytime soon.
Funny thing is, she probably won't get in trouble for it either.
She probably won't. And if she's an OnlyFans model, I'm sure it's just to self-promote herself. So note to self, if you have a daughter or a granddaughter and they are below the age of 25, please make sure they're not doing OnlyFans. It's a very depraved website, and I hate the fact that it exists. I think it brings out the worst of people. But yeah, hopefully if this ever does open up somewhere else, people could use it for the actual purpose of hey, someone around the world. Hey, how's it going? How's, just nice hello, not showing off their naked parts. Well, that's it for the show today. Ron and I have a lot of work to do, so thanks for tuning in. We will be back with DML, I believe, tomorrow. I think he's freed up for tomorrow to be on the show. Ryan and I will also be doing a Ryan's Cafe. I think we're going to be doing some kind of cocktail concoction that our mom suggested to us, so definitely stay tuned for that this weekend. And just a reminder that if you want to sign up for the Great American Newsletter, you must go to greatagain.squarespace.com. greatagain.squarespace.com. That will eventually turn into greatamerican.news.com. But until that happens, again, greatagain.squarespace.com. Go to the link, sign up, submit, and follow the instructions as to how to get that email from your junk or promotions or any other tab into your primary inbox. And for today's Team DML blessing, I would like to give it to Shirley Blanchard because, one, she's been obviously an awesome friend and Team DML supporter since day one, and we love her. And two, she is going through a tragic loss right now. She just lost her brother-in-law, and just when you're dealing with something like that, it's only so much when you can only comfort. But I just hope the best for her and her family through this time of grief. We love you, Shirley. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we will be back with you tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.
Get the Dennis Michael Lynch podcast every day by subscribing on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and download the DML News app from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store for breaking news, merchandise, films, exclusive content, and Team DML.